Sorry, I gotta start the pod like this, but Zverev, you're in the director's chair today. So welcome to the Tennis Director Wheeler podcast, episode 2. And quite frankly, I'm a little bit disgusted what I saw, and I know you guys are too at home. So drop a comment if you saw what I saw. Now, you've got the number one player in the world giving you free advice straight from the source, and what do? You ignore him. Instead, you go to Casper Ruud begging for advice. A guy with 0 Grand Slams over the guy with all the Grand Slams in the world. Can you tell me how that makes sense? Honestly, I didn't see it coming. That's just not bad judgment. That's borderline delusion. Carlos told him plain and simple: put the ball away earlier, do less work. But Zverev only hears one thing in his head: my backhand is the kill shot, and I just have trouble doing that. So instead of listening to the best advice, not the best haircut, he calls for possibly the best haircut in the game, aka Casper Ruud, to come running over. And what does Casper say? Casper says the exact same thing. And it wasn't just about you ignoring him, it was your body language, your facial tone. I know you were playing a match and you were playing an exhibition that didn't really matter, but you're still upset. And then you see Henman Hale comes over, and he doesn't say a word. You could just see it on his face too. It's just like, it's pointless talking to this guy. So the question is, if you can't listen to the number one player in the world, who can you listen to? Certainly not Uncle Tony. Because that's not just being Zverev being stubborn. It's just not. It's more than stubbornness. It's just way more. He'd rather lose in his way than in the right way. And then on the other side of the net, you have Fritz, and you have Andre Agassi. Him telling Fritz, I love how intentional you're being with your rally shots early on. I mean, this was right before Fritz just beat Carlos. But my question to Fritz would be this: why do you look so timid when you're explaining to the other players what you're doing, and your voice doesn't seem assertive? Why does it sound so unsure of himself during that conversation with Andre Agassi? Because you're the 5th player in the world. You're very good. Why is it not, you're hammering home what you're saying? You know what I mean? Why do I not hear the chalk on the fucking chalkboard? But nevertheless, you brought the performance of your life to the Bay Area. So my next question to you is, where the hell was this during the US Open? I mean, I don't know what's worse, the timing of this play, or your copy and paste music taste. I mean, your music taste is like your older brother left his iPod around and you found it. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, that's neither here nor there. It was an extremely good performance. But again, if I'm a Taylor Fritz fan, I'm asking, where the hell was this during the Wimbledon semifinal? Where the hell was this during the quarterfinal? It just doesn't seem like there's no dog or killer in him. You know what I mean? I mean, the level 800 Paladin seems very assertive that he's very good at video gaming. But again, when you're sitting on the bench explaining yourself to Fonseca, Agassi, and Opelka, it just doesn't seem like there's force. It doesn't seem like I know what the hell. It doesn't seem like there's that dog. I keep saying that because you need that dog to beat these two players. If you want to go and get a Grand Slam, you're gonna feel you gotta act like you got that dog in you. And I don't see that right now. And now I'm a Fritz fan. I gotta wait till January to see you have a crack at another Grand Slam. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. Another story I've been covering recently is Sinner is chasing Carlos mentally right now, and you can just see it happening right in front of us. You've heard the saying, anything you can do, I can do better. Well, Jannik is kind of living that right now. Carlos at the Laver Cup caught a ball in his pocket. I'm going to put a picture here, and went viral. And then 5 days later, Sinner's out there trying to do the same thing. And then he's getting filmed as well. I know it's not a big a deal. Same move, same energy. It might just not be big. But I am not reaching here. I understand how rivals look at each other, and that's just not coincidence. The devil is in the detail. The greatest form of flattery is imitation, and Sinner is imitating the hell out of Carlos right now. That's just what it is. He's living rent free. And here's the dangerous part about this. If history repeats itself, Sinner could very well become the Federer of this forever haunting relationship. You see, when Federer and Nadal played each other in a lot of high pressure situations, the shank forehand and shank backhand just many times became a thing. It's just what Nadal knew was going to come when it came to push come to shove. So when this is happening, you can just see Jannik putting himself into this mental prison as he watches Carlos more and more. It would seem Carlos has all the keys to the prison, and Jannik is just entrenching himself more and more. It's very interesting to see, and honestly, I'm going to follow it a lot more. But if push comes to shove right now, I would say this record is going to heavily tilt in the Spaniard's favor. 3-1, 4-1, maybe, who knows? Because if that service is not lightning fast, I got to give to the edge to Carlos every single time. And there's also a picture that Carlos posted after the US Open I thought was really interesting, and I'm going to try and bring it up here. Hold on, let me see if I can bring it up. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Here's the photo here. Look closely at this photo because it's going to tell you what it really takes to get to the top. 40 to 50 hours a week on court growing up between 8 years old and let's say 16 years old. There is no time to style yourself. There's no time to build any social IQ. There's no time to practice charisma. So that's why players like Carlos, they get stylists, because on my life, I can tell by this photo, he's just not picking his own clothes at all. Tennis is the only thing that's going to matter for these people's life. So when we're looking at these people grow up in front of us and we're blinded by Rolex ads and flashy highlight reels, you got to realize for them to be standing there with a trophy like this right in front of them, or right with this photo right below, they have given up every morsel of ounce of anything around them. So you got to ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice everything for that trophy just like he did? Because if you looked at him in Raducanu, that did not look like Riz. It looked like Fizz. It's just what it is. You got to realize, like, if you're on court that much, by the time you make it, everything else is just going to be underdeveloped. And then you're just, the lights and camera and action is just always on you. It just gets so overwhelming. You know what I mean? You see kind of the same thing with just happened out in Japan. You know, you have these young players traveling around and you see them reacting to things, and sometimes they post things on the internet that just gets massively, I wouldn't say blown out of proportion, because you got what was coming to you, Taylor. And that did not help you at all in terms of the Ostapenko beef at all. She kind of just called that out. She said you're going to get clipped when you got out, and you clipped yourself. You clipped yourself as soon as you left the United States of America, and honestly it made us all look bad, but that's another fucking story. That being said, you know, that's the second episode of Tennis Director Wheeler's podcast. You can catch me on TikTok, you can catch me on YouTube Shorts, you can catch me on Instagram under the same handle, and you can catch me on Twitter under the same handle. That being said, I'll catch you in the next one, and it'll be interesting to see what unfolds in the next few weeks in the ATP. Tennis Director Wheeler, out.